I have been trying to get this to work for a little while. Spent a lot of time trying to do this. Like 4 or 5 failed runs before this. On the 4th act, it says there's no limit on the resources you can gather. Now, I saw it and thought, you know what? I didn't know if road lanterns stacked. I knew they stacked on top of each other. I didn't know they stacked completely, so it stopped spawns. And yeah, this is where this comes in, and perfect timing. So this there's videos on YouTube going over infinite loops using a lot of villages. That's all good and well, but the infinite loops don't actually give too much benefit. I'm not sure, but because the runes give a random resource, and I just want to see how many resources I can gather. So last thing I'm gonna do is get rid of that last tile that's spawnable, and yeah, until I get another Oblivion, I'm not sure actually, because I don't know if I put a village there, it's going to spawn a. If it spawns a camp, it's just going to be annoying. I mean, I'll be able to kill it. I'm not by any means weak. So yeah, I'll just do this. No, perfect. Okay. Oh, I'm so happy. So, because I'm playing the thief as well, it's going to cycle crappy weapons as well. And there's no resource limit. And I managed to get this done before the second boss. So on the last stage, you fight all the bosses in order due to map completion. So I've managed to do this before the second boss, so it is possible. I didn't want to fight the second boss because by the time I got there, I would have been too weak, more than likely. It's kind of luck based with what items you get. If you get a few levels above, but with this run, I'm not getting many trophies, so the thief isn't as good. So I also have supplies which leaves 10%. So I think that actually maybe helps if there's like a hard cap of resources, even though it says no resources. So what I'm going to do is I am going to leave this running. I'm going to go and have a sleep, leave this running, just like all the other loot videos, but I want to see at the end how many resources I will gather. Actually, just to check, I want to see if it shows on the retreat screen how many resources in total, or if it's just the ones that are left behind. When I finish, I will. Okay, yeah, it says total. That's perfect. You're not going to get the rare things, but when you've unlocked alchemy, which you probably have by the time you've gotten to the last stage, if you can stack infinite amounts of wood, stable metal, and rock, you can just break them down. Now, yeah, I will leave this, and I'll come back to it at some other point, and continue recording. Should be fun. And when I finish, I'll go over what the build requires and just roughly how I set it up. But it's a bit finicky, a bit of luck. But once you do it, hopefully infinite resources. So yeah, see you in a bit. So got to loop 100, and so far so good, no issues. It's looking pretty good. That's a lot. I know why I'm getting more stable metal than the rest, because every piece of gear that decomposes, every piece of gear that breaks, will then just go into stable metal. Now, I'm actually really happy it's worked out, because there was I did this before, and I got sort of close to the same setup, but it was right next to the second boss fight, and it spawned the boss, but I didn't put a tile down, so I was really confused. I was just worried. This is a little bit of an update just to check if it carries on working, basically. But it seems fine. So yeah, we'll be going back. The next cut will be no idea. Hello, we're back. 700. It's looking good. I'll probably leave it till 1,000. But 2,000 metal. Oh, it's funny because I could just literally. Oh, it's gonna be so nice. I think I should be able to upgrade everything after I've done this. After I've gotten to 1,000, more than likely. But I'll see you at 1,000. And we're here. Show how much resources. I'm gonna stop here. I could literally just leave it and get as many resources as possible. But we will leave it here. I would put the gear on, try and fight the boss, but I don't know how likely it is to crash, and I don't want to lose the resources, to be honest. It's only 1,000. I think there was another video popular that did like 15,000 or something, but again, there was no gain on that. There was no resource gain, so with this, it's just for the resources. And yeah, 3,000 stable metal, 1,000 wood and 1,000 rations, and then 1,200 rocks. I don't know why the rocks are higher than the wood and the rations. It should really have worked out even, but the stable metal is just from all the gear. Okay, let's retreat. Oh, look at that. Obviously I can't upgrade anything because well, it's only it's like 4 base materials, but what I can go now and do, which would take a very long time. I should get an auto clicker, but I think that's the gist of it right there. Essentially infinite materials. I should be able to get enough hydrogen to upgrade absolutely everything. Even this, which is the most expensive, 300, which yeah, it's not a lot really. Oh, we've got an achievement. So yeah, apothecary hut. Be interesting to see what everything upgrades into. I'll probably do a separate video of putting what everything's max upgrade is. So yes, I will. Before I end this, I'll show you the build. You really don't. As soon as you unlock chapter 4, you can get this done, and it'll just make the rest of the game easy because you'll be able to upgrade everything. So you want to be on the rogue. It speeds up everything a lot, and it allows you to kill the first boss relatively easy with outposts. It just gives you a ton more stable metal over the other resources as well. So Oblivion is a must. You really do need to take it. Firstly, the Lich will summon extra Lich palaces. On the cardinal directions, it will summon like 2 rows out instead of 1, which is like the original boss fight. So before you spawn that, because you will have to spawn that boss, try and fill up the areas around it. But of course, Oblivion is fine. You need Oblivion 100% for the village bandit camps because they're very frustrating. You don't necessarily need to go with the Bookery, but I did it. It made it a bit easier. Again, technically, you don't need to go with ruins. You could go with Grove or Cemetery, but the Cemetery only gives Book of Memories, which break down a lot cheaper, I think, than rocks, wood, and stable metal and rations. But yeah, you could do it in a number of ways. Obviously, you're going to need road lanterns, and I would say you need outposts, just to make the boss fight easier, because you're going to be really weak for the boss fight. because you won't be getting a lot of trophies from all the enemies. Now, road lantern's the only real must. I only put a few suburbs down. I didn't use desert at all. So village lantern and oblivion is the bare essential. With this, I just went with Arsenal. It made no difference. But on most tiles, you can get 4 lanterns to one square very easily, unless it's a weird diagonal tile and you can only get 3 lanterns, which means you're gonna have to put a village there, unless you want to restart. So you've got a nice loop layout. But you don't. I originally, on my first tries, put a beacon. Now the issue with that is, by the time you could technically do it still, but it would be really close. You wouldn't have you could do it without summoning the second boss, which by the time you get to the second boss, you might very well lose, even with outposts. You could put beacons down, which would speed it up by 40%, which is really useful. If I'd have done that, I would have gotten a lot more loops done. If you just don't put the suburbs down, you can put the beacons down. But again, it'll just make it a bit more difficult to get the right RNG for it. But yeah, that's that. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and break everything down into hydrogen. Well, not absolutely everything, probably like 2,000. I'll get an auto clicker to do it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, just leave any comments and likes and such.